Good morning, Adab, Sat Sri Akal, and Namaskar. This is a very sensitive video which I am going to talk. It is purely going to be on the men in uniform and army. And it's working towards the soil of these 57 cantonments. Now, what is an army or what is a nation to be defined in a balanced way? So, what was the basic objective of an army? It includes conquest, defense, prevention of war, and at times civil aid during times of natural calamities, emergencies, riots, or civil wars. So, why were these armies first made and where were they made? The civilization grew exceptionally in the valley of Tigris and Euphrates rivers in Asia and in the Nile Valley in Africa. So these were the three areas where the originated armies grew up. Before Christ, 3200 years before, in Babylonian, they had built a regular army of some spearmen and bowmen, which went up till 2500 BC, that is before Christ. The Sumerians, they built up their army, which was of a new doing, that was chariots. So they were which was initially drawn by wild asses at that time. Then came the Assyrians. They invented battery rams. This was somewhere in 1700 BC. So we moved down more than 2500 years down. The Greeks concentrated on tactical formations. The Romans developed a flexibility and infrastructure for speedy mobility. So these were the kind of armies which were being made in the early days of the civilization. Early armies lived off the land until the Germans. Now what does that mean? These armies were living off the land until the Germans set up a quartermaster office to ensure food and living quarters for the army. These were the forerunners of cantonments. So, first time the word cantonment came in the German army happenings. Now, this video which I am talking of, why men in uniform and army, and I am briefing some history, is the atrocities, the misgivings what Ministry of Defence under the aegis of the Director General lands subjects to these inhabitants of our 57 cantonments, and that also after independence. It's shameful. I am surprised in parliamentary reports either. In the 2010, there was a questionnaire on in the Parliament 209, where it was very clearly accepted. Yes, the civilization and the ministry itself is very unhappy of the department which looks after us, that is the Director General Lands. And it even proposed the abolition of this department. Why? We don't want any department to be abolished or created. The system is in place. It only needs to be educated and rectified, and let the executives come with the truth. If we were a grant given by the GGO, which very clearly says it has to be a registered grant, come out with that plan, come out with that registered grant, and that's there we end the story. Why let it go under litigation? So there is so much to talk about it. Now, coming back to the Indian Army, it really needs to seriously rethink its role and values. After independence, when the army talks of protecting the nation, I somehow believe it seems to have misunderstood the definition of nation. This is my Indian Army. Now, according to the Oxford Dictionary, nation means community of people of mainly common descent, language, history, or political institution, and usually sharing one territory and government. So, we are a one family under a one regime of government. But army feels of today that they are an independent government. In my case, the local military authority took the laws in their own hand. So the army, instead of protecting the people, the concentration seems to be upon hanging on to and acquiring land of ours. The army needs to become what the original mindset of the British was, to create these cantonments and inscribe these civil areas, which was in 1855 army regulation, not the 1938 civil area notification. They brought in these civil people because army or the British officer could not survive without the British army becoming a pro-people army and win the hearts of the local Indians. So even today's army needs to do that. It should consider putting its discipline and efficiency into fighting hunger and pestilence, displacement and eviction, rather than the people who are suffering from these. The army is doing a vice versa. The Indian army, I remember the Quartermaster General had very clearly said, has a tactic understanding that civilians should not mind sacrificing for those who sacrifice their lives for the nation. Every time the government or the army wants that the civilians should sacrifice towards the nation because they sacrifice themselves on the borders. However, one does not want to give up everything for the men in uniform, as they are serving the nation. But when blindly obeying corrupt executives and not adhering to the laws of the land, you feel little disturbed because you look towards the men in uniform in a different esteem. What do? Why should we civilians alone should sacrifice? Why are we crucified in these 57 cantonments? I don't know. I was very happy when Ranjan Gogoi, as the Chief Justice of Punjab and Haryana, had passed an order for a Firozpur cantonment CBI inquiry on land records. But he had restricted his CBI inquiry till 1977. I will request the men in uniform, if you are so confident of these lands being yours by the Britishers when you inherited, ask your executives, sit down with them for a mind talk. Boggle your minds with them and ask them honestly, do they have grants? Do they have registers which prove these are government lands? Do they have plans as survey plans which are supposed to be in their custody, cannot be destroyed, written in the books and law books? Every book has been shared by the DG lands. I personally gave every law book and research material to the DG office. I have a receiving of it. Ask them. And if it is there and you feel somewhere something is wrong, let's have an independent CBI inquiry for 57 cantonments. Land records from 1836. Why 1977? Let's come up. Let everybody come and speak the truth. Whatever it is, we will accept our faith. And the men in uniform should also accept their faith. There is no harm in admitting that we were wrong. We grow by this. I'll quote a small poem of Rabindranath Tagore, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection, where the clear stream of reasons has not lost its way into the dreary deserts, sand of dead habits, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thoughts and actions into that heaven of freedom. My Father, let my country awake. Amen. This is what I want. Let everybody live with an independency, without fear. Okay. Now, we as men in uniform and men in civil dress have to decide, do we want to make a choice of making and spending on Agni missiles, where the cost of it could have made more than 15,000 primary health centers? A missile producing center could have provided water to 37,000 villages. 150 nuclear bombs could have given a public health program to entire India. We need to compare what we need, apart from our neighbors. We spend 62,000 crores, or today I think it is more than 80,000 crores. We spend 5 to 6,000 crores on nuclear programs. We spend more than 1,100 or 1,500 crores on the VVIP area of New Delhi, of sheltering any nuclear explosion there. The cost of our commands on nuclear weapons is more than 35,100 crores. Health sector would only cost us 2,300 crores. Primary education, we spent 520 crores. Compensation, what was given to the Gujarat earthquake relief, was not even 342 crores. We spent 3,000 crores on poverty eradication. Imagine, do we need another Hiroshima, or do we need a better civilization, a developed nation, a country where everybody lives in peace? I'm requesting my men in uniform, we stand by you shoulder to shoulder. We need you equally, you need us. Let's be at par. Let's not try and be above, because our constitution gives us the word equality. Friends, I'm requesting my men in uniform to listen to this video and wake up. Don't have an envy on us that why A or B is living in these cantonments. Why aren't the men in uniform living in these cantonments? There are so many journals in the last 10 years who have bought B3 lands. Why are they buying lands? There are so many politicians who have bought lands in these cantonments. Why are they buying lands? Let's have a one-time policy frame. Resume entire cantonment bungalows, 2,900 grants. One notification, take them away. No, you will not. You are finding it's a money game, I would say. We are on an exchequer loss by targeting an individual. Why can't we bring up a notification? Why can't the present regime get a notification, 2,900 grants tomorrow finish? It won't, because it knows it creates a problem for them. People will go to the court because we are actually not compensated rightly. So I would only request my men in uniform once again, you listen to this video, have a sanguine approach. Thank you. Good day.